Hello and welcome to episode 55 of the Heart of Markness podcast. That's notwithstanding the bonus episodes and the extra patron episodes at Sept. Still, 55, not a bad run. And we're going to keep going. And I don't believe I've missed a week since last July. Before that time, those of you that were around in the before time, when I did this half-assed instead of three-quarters-assed, I would do a podcast episode when I felt like it. When I first started, it was very, very serious. And I mean, I had notes, I had books, I had those little sticky colored flags that you use when you're in college to keep places and things like that. And I would do deep research. And I want to go back to that because there are things that I want to do, but I'm a terrible human being. I'm bad at life, although I'm trying very hard to get better, and I am better. And this podcast is one of the things that helps make me better at life. So for now, you get the weekly Here's the Show stuff, and it's doing pretty well. It seems to make you guys pretty happy, and as the weeks go on, it seems there's more and more people that are happy. And this makes me happy because I get this done, and I get that sense of accomplishment of like, yay. And the funny thing is, even when I'm not feeling it and I do it perfunctorily, I guess, you guys like it. Like last week, I was kind of still a little out of it from having had a migraine a couple days before. And I thought I was fairly stoic and flat, but I've got some really intensely good feedback on the last episode. Now, granted, a lot of that is because it's a great show, and I lean on that a lot because if it's a great performance, then unless I just get on here and just start, reading from Mein Kampf or something horrible, I'm not going to really, really bring it down a lot when it's compared to Led Zeppelin at their best. So, I mean, I take that with a grain of salt, and I also bank on it because then it's like, yeah. It's, I had a good comparison and it just fell out of my head. Anyway, let's get moving along. The topic this week is one of the many must-have shows if you love Led Zeppelin. This is September 19th, 1970, Madison Square Garden, New York City, and it is, one of the best out there. In fact, the second half of the last hour of the show, I think it may very well be the best Led Zeppelin. I mean, and I know it's Europe 73. It's different. A bit graded on different criteria. You can find different things because, last week's Copenhagen 79 show was one of the best Led Zeppelin shows. Or parentheses, latter day, parentheses, Jimmy, parentheses, this is good old-fashioned 1970 Led Zeppelin, just a couple weeks after the legendary Blueberry Hill show. And the recording is not of that quality. Well, it is of that quality, but not of the quality of the super amazing four-source matrix that is put together in such a way and balanced in such a way it sounds almost professional. This is just a really, really good audience recording, and it captures everything, and it's great for the era, for 1970. I mean, Jesus Christ, the technology. I mean, cassettes were hardly a thing then. I mean, they were, but it was still reel-to-reel, and then 8-track, and then cassettes, and what you had for cassette players were those rectangular things that were black with the silver mesh speaker that would sit on the desk flat, and you would dictate into them. Miss Haversham, take a letter, please. To Silas Marner at Remington Corporation. Ray, the acquisition of, just dry bullshit like that. But this show, and this is the evening show, because they played, and this is something else that's fucking incredible, is that they played 2 shows on this date. Like the Stones, I did a bonus episode with a Stones show from '72, where they were playing 2 shows a day. And on one hand, it's like, ooh, how hard is it to stand up for 2 hours and play guitar? And on the other hand, it's a lot. It's an energy exchange. It's intensity, especially when you have the you not only have to seize the focus of 15,000 people, you have to hold it, and then you have to mold it, and then you have to be able to turn it back onto them in order for it to make a circuit, so that it's just feeding and growing and it's snowballing. And this is the time when 1970, you don't get more palpable evidence of this happening. I mean, at Blueberry Hill, the thank you when they end, ba ba ba, we gotta go now, and the audience goes, no. I mean, that's chills. But and this is just 2 weeks after that, and it's in New York, so it's not quite as hippy dippy an audience as you have in L.A. It's New York, and they win them over, and instead of being so hippy dippy, they're just like more. And at some point, I don't have it on these songs that I'm playing, but you'll be able to download the whole show and you'll hear it. Some guy's like, we're gonna tear the garden apart, because it's just, in one way, it's kind of like rubbing a kitty cat's tummy. When you rub their tummy at 1,000,000 miles an hour and they go crazy and they do that bunny rabbit foot thing where they're trying to destroy you. It's like that. You're building up that energy. There's a reason why it compares so favorably to sex. It's because there is the buildup, and it's a charge that's building up. And you try to do your best to build it up to the highest level of intensity and keep it there just before it goes over, because it's like popping a balloon. When the orgasm happens, that moment of clarity where it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Or just like, this is the best thing ever, this is the best thing ever. What's on TV? One's interests change. But you'll hear it in this show. I'm going to play... First of all, absolutely go to heartofmarkness.com and download this entire show. It's one of their best ever. They do some different stuff with their rock and roll medleys. They play stuff that they rarely play. They even play Blueberry Hill at this one. But instead of doing it as a standalone, they do it in the middle of How Many More Times. It's crazy. And you get a sense that they're like, and they're playing stuff, and I just realized this because I'm an idiot, but the songs they play from Led Zeppelin 3 are still new to these people, because even September 19th, I don't believe Zeppelin 3 came out in the States until October of 1970. So, in fact, when these songs are playing, I'm going to look that up, because if I'm wrong, I don't need, want you guys back. Actually, Mark, came out July 4th in 1970, so the audience would have been very familiar with these songs. And I do appreciate that when I'm corrected, because sometimes I'm stupid, and oftentimes I just go from memory, because, surprise, surprise, I wing it. I did read about it. I read a lot but what I focus more on is what's the best source for a show, and then reviews for not only what's the best source, and sometimes it's subjective. Like this particular show has one taped source available, so every release is just another iteration of that, where somebody EQs it to their preferences, and some people like the Eddie Edwards remastered better. Some people like the straight off the straight from the master tapes better. Some people like it with this a little more, and that's cool. It's all essentially the same. And it's crazy because this tape came about because there was a dude on, I think it's the DC++. There's a hub that confused me like 20 years ago when I tried to fuck around with it, and confuses me today. And I should really do something about it, because it's just my own ego keeping me from asking for help on how to hook up and connect to it. And then I'll be able to get so much more and share so much more. But anyway, I digress. And it was somebody on these hubs, and able to, and you probably still can, communicate with people who would download. And what it would be is you would just basically connect one folder, like your Led Zeppelin folder, on your computer and have this program running. And anybody else who's on that hub could use, your folder is added to a searchable database. So if you have Led Zeppelin September 19th, 1970, and someone looks up Led Zeppelin September 19th, 1970, yours will show up in the search results, and if they want to, they can just grab it and download it off of you. And vice versa. And you can talk to these people, send little messages like, hey dude, thanks. And in 2004, I read this on Royal Orleans. A guy was doing that. He was on there, and somebody was downloading the Honolulu show, which was just a few days after Blueberry Hill, I think. Still in the same month of September, was downloading the Honolulu show from him because he wanted to see if he could overlay the Honolulu show with his recording of this show we're going to listen to now, September 19th, and see if he could make a matrix that way. And the guy's like, he must not mean the evening show, because only the afternoon show had been released. But then he decided to download it off this guy's server, off this guy's folder, and back in the day, it took a million years, so like a day later when he got home from work, he had the show, and he listened to it, and he's like, holy fuck, this is not the same show. This really is the evening show. That guy had the only recording, because he had made that recording and digitized it, had the only recording of that show. He just assumed somebody else had it. He didn't know that he was holding on to this gold mine, and this guy found it, and then that's how it got into circulation. And it's incredible. And that still happens now and again. And these tapes, this is 50 years ago. 50 years ago. And how many recordings of how many great bands and great shows were just thrown out, sold for $0.25 at the yard sale, or given to Goodwill, or just passed down. Dad dies, the kids split up the stuff, somebody keeps his box of tapes because can't bear to part with them, so it goes in the attic until that guy dies, and then you've got grandpa's tapes, and who the fuck has a cassette player anymore? Until it finally gets shit-canned and nobody knows that they're holding the most important things in their hands. And I'm so glad that there are people out there like the Gems group that's doing that to the Mike Millard Masters, restoring them and releasing them so that we can hear all this great stuff that happened. You're going to get a peek through a time machine at a concert that happened 50 years ago that was not recorded professionally, even though it's rumored that it was recorded professionally, and it's rumored that there's a soundboard of it, and there may be a soundboard of it. I wouldn't be surprised if the band recorded their shows, or somebody did, just to listen to it on the bus or on the plane, or if they went, for the purposes of, like, if they went into in a jam and came across something new, they just started playing a new riff. You want to hear that. So after the show, maybe they'd be like, hey, let's go back and listen to Whole Lotta Love so we can figure out what the fuck we did spontaneously and then make it something else. But in any case, all that's out there that we know of is this guy's recording that just by chance a Zeppelin fan stumbled across, and just by chance that Zeppelin fan realized what he had, and then again by chance he didn't turn into a golem and hoard it, my precious, because there are so many cool things that are in the clutches of the people. We call them hoarders. They're top tier collectors, and it's the same as everything else with antiquities and things like that. They have something that's a one of a kind, and they will only trade it for another one of a kind. But the problem with that scarcity is the value diminishes. We're half a century away from when this performance happened and from Led Zeppelin's inception. And it's becoming more historical and less personal now as we get older. I'm in my 50s. You're probably in your 50s. Most of you, some of you, anyways, whatever. And the band is in their 70s. They're not going to be around forever. The wheel rolls on. We're all just going to get older and eventually just fall off the map. And it's going to get to a point where it's not people who saw Zeppelin in their heyday, or people who are like me, who are like, fuck, I'm so pissed. I was just a little too young to see Zeppelin live. And get to the point where it's just historical value. Like if somebody came to me with a super rare Count Basie acetate from the 30s and it was the only copy, I might be able to go, oh, that's neat. That has value. That's cool. Thumbs up. And not, but I wouldn't have that, holy shit, you have this? I was trying not to ramble for 15 minutes, and here it is, 15 minutes. Alrighty, let's just stop earthing and get on to the music, shall we? One neat thing about this show, aside from it being one of the best live sets you're ever going to hear in your entire life, is that it happened the day after Jimi Hendrix died. And Robert gives a brief, kind of awkward, but he's also 22 years old. He's not even, yeah, he is 22 years old at this point. So, I mean, how do you handle gravitas when you're still at a college age, you know? In any case, let's hop in. Actually, let me open my set list because I do want to play this in kind of an order. Let's start with the acoustic. Bron-Y-Aur. Bron-Y-Aur? Bron-Y-Aur? Aurora. The acoustic song that everybody knows. Bron-Y-Aur. It's played wonderfully. You heard it at Blueberry Hill. You're hearing it here. What I love about it is the harmonics that Jimmy picks off, and it's picked up perfectly, even though it's an old recording on, I believe, a cassette master from 50 years ago. So let's listen to Bron-Y-Aur before we get into the good stuff. All right, Led Zeppelin, September 19th, Madison Square Garden, 1970. Here we go.
Jimmy Page, Bron-Y-Aur.
Exquisitely good. I would love to hear a soundboard of that. But even through the acoustics of a big hall like Madison Square Garden, recorded on a little tape recorder, I don't know what the recording equipment was, mic-wise and stuff, but it picked it up and you could hear those little harmonics. Those harmonics are those super high, little chimey sounds, and those are produced by holding your finger lightly on the string over a fret, but not press directly over a fret, not between. And you don't press down on the string. And you pluck it, and then I believe what rings out then is not the vibration that would play from your finger to the bridge. I can't remember the terminology. I think the bridge is attached to the body. I've played guitar for 40 fucking years and I still don't know the goddamn name. It plays, instead of going from your fingertip to the bridge. It goes from your fingertip to the nut, which is up at the top of the neck, where the string goes whoop over and then down the neck, which is a shorter distance and a higher tone. I don't even know. That's just my guess. In any case, it chimes and it's beautiful and it sounds heavenly. And I wish it was on the official release, but it isn't. So, but I would love to hear a soundboard just to hear in perfect clarity. But I am thankful we have this. So let's move along. What I have now, we're going to jump to the latter hour of the show, not play the whole thing. But what we are going to play is Whole Lotta Love, which is 22 minutes. But here's what you get in that 22 minutes. And it's a unique Whole Lotta Love. In fact, I'm going to read a post from July 4th, 2006 on Royal Orleans, written by username July73. Because all I would do, if I don't read it directly, all I would do is just paraphrase it, uncredited. So here it is. This show's utterly unique Whole Lotta Love does make it a strong Holy Grail candidate. It even briefly includes Train Kept A-Rollin'. And then Plant says, what we want to do is try and choose a good number to go on with. They start with Rice Pudding, which you heard at the Montrose show. Which is a Jeff Beck tune. Then they go into the Whole Lotta Love riff. Theremin, call response, into Boogie Mama, and then what July 73 calls the oldies lyric quote medley, which is where they're playing the blues thing and Robert sings 600 different songs. Look over yonder's wall, dust my broom, bottle up and go. That's the two old ladies sitting in the sand, each one wishing that the other was a man. They got a bottle up and go. Then Truckin' Little Mama, which has the same thing. Truckin' Little Mama, Jimmy Page going crazy. A little groovy funk, Lottie Miss Claudie, a slow groove, Simple Girl, some other guy now, and then into Stroll On / Train Kept A-Rollin'. Yardbirds did Train Kept A-Rollin' twice. They did Train Kept A-Rollin', and then they did the same fucking song with different lyrics called Stroll On. That's okay. Did they do Stroll On for that movie that they were in, the Badalamenti movie? I don't know. Subject for another day. Then they go into King Bee, Baby Don't You Want to Go, CC Rider, and then Honeybee. Now, Honeybee is what they went into during In My Time of Dying at the reunion show in 2007. Now, they cut it from the official release, so they didn't have to pay that money for just that little tiny bit of the song. But if you listen to an audience feed of it, and there's 8,000 audience recordings of it on YouTube, unless they all got taken down, where it's just, I hear a lot of buzzing. Sounds like my little honeybee. And then they go into the, oh my Jesus. So in this song, they go from Honeybee into the Lemon song, and then they finish Whole Lotta Love. So 22 minutes and a whole bunch of stuff, and it's good because a lot of this stuff we haven't heard before, even though it's still the same essential format of medley, back to Whole Lotta Love. So yay. Let's listen to that, shall we? This is bad ass, friends. This is bad ass. I hope you enjoy it.
One night I was laying down, I heard my mom and papa talking. I heard them say, I'm the big M from the big A. I hear them say, let that boy boogie woogie. 'Cause everybody needs it, it's gotta come out. I think I got a boogie children. I think I wanna tell you what it's all about. Baby, trying to find my girl. Ooh, she loves me. Ooh, she loves me. I'm a king bee. Want you to be my queen. I'm a king bee. Want you to be my queen. I'm the first little baby that you ever seen. I'm your able to bust all night long. I'm your able, baby, to bust all night long. I'm the first little baby with your man is long. Now that's why. Everybody go bzzz. Bzzz. I can't hear bzzz. I hear a lot of buzzing. I don't hear very much buzzing. Sounds like my little honeybee. I hear a lot of buzzing. Sounds like my little honeybee. I don't mind to make it sugar, darling. Please say a few kind words. I started to get their vocal cords. Woman! Now everybody was asleep. Woman! Now the people who were asleep and awake. Woman! Way down inside. You
couple of my favorite things among that giant 22-minute ball of sonic perfection is more towards the beginning. I think maybe around the theremin part. The taper or somebody near the taper or the mics is just going far out, far out. And it's so silly that people used to say groovy and far out. I mean, what we say is stupid, what the kids say is stupid, what the grandkids say is stupid, but just slang, it's funny. Far out. And they're seeing that and they're losing their minds because they know that what they're witnessing is insanely great. And the guys were having fun playing it. That's why it's play. You play music because it's joyous when you're doing it right. It's joyous. So yay for that. Now let's move along because we're going up to 48 minutes and we've played 2 of the 4 songs. So let's go. What's the set list? The boys played a Whole Lotta Love as their last song. Oop. Bitches be blowing up my phone. Whole Lotta Love. Thank You, Good Night. The MC comes out, and I was going to share some of that recording, but it's just, you want more? Hey! You know, it's not like, sometimes you hear, like, you can hear the 60s or the 70s, and the guy's like, hey, man, if we all cool it, Led Zeppelin would love to come out and play with you, but you got to mellow out, man. You know, sometimes it's like that. It's not like that. It's just a dude who you know is a prick, and he sounds like it. Unless he isn't. It's like, my father was the MC. I'm sorry. So they Whole Lotta Love, go off stage, come out for their encore, where they play one of the very few Out on the Tiles complete songs ever. I know they played it at Blueberry Hill, and I played it on one of my Blueberry Hill episodes, so we're not going to play it tonight. Nor are we going to play it in the Spectacular Communication Breakdown. It is on you to work from home, download it, and listen to it yourself, because there's just too much, guys, on this. Why don't you make it a 2-part podcast? Maybe I will, but I haven't decided yet, because you know how I decided when I decided to do this show? About 1 o'clock this afternoon. So we'll see what I'm going to do next week. Let's see. So yeah, Communication Breakdown. Thank You, Good Night, which is the second encore. And they came out and they didn't even play a song. They didn't even start a song. They just played a bunch of medleys. and it is unique because I don't recall them ever doing it. They may have before. And also, these later encores are not always captured by tapers because they only bring so much tape. So if you got 2 hours of tape and then at 2 hours and 5 minutes the band comes on again, well, you can't record it. But this guy did. So let's listen to the Rock und Roll medley, and then we'll come back and discuss. Danke. See you in a minute.
When people cry, people carry road. When people die, then I carry road. When people lie, when they go home. When girl can't help it, she was born to be. When she got a finger made to squeeze. I'm a woman, and you see, I can't help it. She gives me love, give me mama son. I left you in the eye, this thing is well done. If she may grab my feel, I put it on. When a girl can't help it, she was born to be. And she's got a finger made to squeeze. I'm a woman, and you see, I got things, yeah.
love the cries for more, more. It's like we've already done our encores. More. We've already done our second encore. More. Love it. And it's their second show of the day. Robert sings that incredibly high voice. That's Girl Can't Help It and 20 Flight Rock. Little Richard and Eddie Cochran, respectively, I believe. I don't think I ever finished my thought. Surprise, surprise. With Whole Lotta Love. There's the guys that are saying Far Out, and listening to that. But it's also Robert singing Cinnamon Girl. And it bugs me that the rest of the band didn't lock into it and actually play the song. They kept playing that blues thing, and Robert just kept the lyrics. That's okay, I get it, because you can't turn on a dime. And the other three people have to A, know the song, and B, know the song well enough to drop into it at the within a half measure's notice. But it's neat that he sang it before he went into. I think he went into Some Other Guy just after that. But he sang a good chunk of Cinnamon Girl. I like Neil Young, but I love Led Zeppelin. All right. Here we are, folks. I'm not going to play you the Jimi Hendrix thing because it's not like it's incredibly moving. It's not like it's incredibly poignant. So you want to download it, you can hear it. We're coming on an hour yet, and I still have yet to play. How Many More Times, which is their 20th track on this, with a bunch of them being MC tracks. And I like it when Robert comes out and makes it sound like they forgot to play it in the song. I mean, I think they just decided not to, and then they came back. It's like, well, what are we going to play? Let's just play some rock songs. If they want more, what are we going to play? Well, shit, let's just do How Many More Times. And remember, in How Many More Times, we have them playing medleys as well, not just the Whole Lotta Love. So you're going to hear, I believe, at least Blueberry Hill. The rest of it I can't recall because I listened to it sparingly today, getting ready. But let's listen to it together, shall we, children? How Many More Times? September 19th, 1970. The mighty, mighty Led Zeppelin. Heart of Markness.
Right, this is one that we should have done, but we thought we were going to do a lot of other things, so stick around. baby. My baby. Back in town, I sold Cadillac signs, no money down. I eased my brakes, I pulled in my car, I let go that car, go down the road. I want to buy a convertible, door to me. One more time. I gotta have a call, make the real fine. I'm gonna take my baby by Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night.
And there you have it. There you have it. For like $3 or $4, maybe $5, less than $10 for sure. You could have gone and witnessed that in person, live, with 15,000 other lucky fuckers. Incredible show. And this is the last show of their summer 1970 tour. And I don't believe they played any gigs after this until 1971. So I think this is their last 1970 performance, which is very typical Led Zeppelin, to play the entire year until their record comes out and then wait a few months before going on the road. Because remember, this is the 19th of September, and the album Led Zeppelin 3 was released on October, will be released on October the 5th. Although I'm sure at this point, at least a couple of songs are playing on the radio. The super cool FM radio, because in 1970, FM radio was amazing. Especially in these big cities, in New York, for sure. But Boston, Philly, LA, the DJs were king. They were celebrities. They were unique. They had freedom. They could play a whole fucking record if they wanted to. They could play whatever they wanted. The good old days. Well, now here we have the internet, and here I am sitting on my couch in my underwear, heavy winter socks because it's chilly, and a t-shirt, windows open, fan blowing, maybe smoking a little pot, and listening to whatever I want. So it's definitely a renaissance. I'm glad you enjoy the podcast. I'm hearing from more and more of you every week, and that's rad. I'm developing relationships and friendships with you guys, which is also rad. And I like this. There's more and more people, and it in the Facebook group. Oh yeah, let's get the social media bullshit out of the way. Follow me on Twitter at Heart of Markness. The aforementioned Facebook group. I'm sorry, that's just a tickle in my throat. It's not because I'm smoking the demon weed. Facebook group, Heart of Markness. Look me up. There's a ton of people in there now, and some really good discussions are going on, like long discussions, in depth, from learned people who are nice. So come on there, hang out, make some friends. It's cool, folks. And that's where you're going to find, well, you'll find the links, but if you're listening to this, you don't need a link to my podcast because you already found it. But, so yeah, Facebook, and I also have heartofmarkness.com, which is, surprise, surprise, my website. And it's where I put the posts for the podcast, which also will include, where applicable, I apologize. Something's tickling the back of my throat like crazy. Nobody wants to hear you cough, Mark. Nobody wants to hear you cough. I want to hear you cough. Thank you. Heart of Markness, it's where you can, where applicable, download the shows. Like, for instance, while you were listening to How Many More Times, I was uploading this entire show to my Mega account, which is paid for by my patrons on Patreon. If you like this podcast, if you like what I do the Zeppelin shows every Thursday. It's primarily a Led Zeppelin Jimmy Page podcast, but since the plague hit us all and so many folks are at home, I've been doing bonus podcasts with other bands. The Stones most recently, but there's David Bowie, Stevie Nicks, Elton John, Queen, Pink Floyd, Thin Lizzy, Neil Young, whole bunch of stuff. Tom Petty. And there's going to be, I downloaded a killer Faith No More show from 93, and I don't know much about that band other than Mike Patton is incredible and he has 10 million musical projects, and he kind of looks like Robert Downey Jr., and I would probably not like him because he seems like somebody I'd want to punch. But he's brilliant. So I may do a Faith No More bonus podcast this coming weekend. I may do another Rolling Stones one because I have 1 million live Stones discs that I downloaded to do, and I only did one podcast, so I might do another one. Anyways, if you like this whole idea of hearing some of the history and context of some of this great live music that was recorded illicitly back in the day, and you want to support this and keep me alive, help keep my laptop alive because the fan died. I've got fans coming should be coming this weekend from Amazon. Wish me luck. I watched a couple of videos on replacing the fans. Replacing the fans themselves, the actual replacement part, easy peasy. Unscrew, unscrew, unplug, unplug, replace. Getting to the fucking things, I have to take every single thing apart from the bottom up. And fuck, wish me luck, friends. Because right now, the temperature of my CPUs and graphics card are hovering close to 70 degrees Celsius, doing nothing more difficult and taxing than recording this on Audacity. So, no gaming for this guy until I get these fans fixed. So there is a slim chance, if I fucking kill my laptop, that there won't be a podcast next week because I won't have anything with which to record it. But we won't go there. It looks like it's a pretty straightforward thing to do. I kind of did a test run earlier this week with just taking it apart a little bit to see if I could, clean out some dust and things because it's 9 years old. And it's a gaming laptop, so it's pretty stout. But I got the toolkit and the thermal paste came in today, and the fans should be here Saturday. So I should have this over with Sunday. I'm going to take my sweet time, take lots of pictures, live a pure life, and hopefully breathe some life into this whole laptop. So there we go. Cross my finger. Oh yeah, Patreon. If you want to support this train wreck of a podcast that deviates all over the road, but still ends up somewhere cool and there's good music, you are welcome to become a patron on patreon.com/heartofmarkness. And patrons get an extra show every month at the $10 a month or higher level. And this podcast would be much harder to do without the support, literal support, of Avi, Bill, Brad, Danielle, David, other David, Mark, Mimo, Peter, and Tracy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, my friends, for supporting me in doing this thing that started to become a neat little diversion from deep depression at the very beginning to what is quickly becoming my passion and quite possibly my dream, because I love doing this and I think I'm getting better at it generally. And I have some cool ideas, and I like that you guys listen. I like that you guys communicate, and I'll see you next week with some other cool Led Zeppelin. Thank you very much. Be good to each other. Wash your hands. Bye-bye.